And for more on the repatriation of the remains of the SANDF soldiers, we are joined in studio by SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo. Thank you so much for your time. And finally, our soldiers are coming back home. It is a somber moment. It's been 2 weeks that we've been waiting for this. What is the situation right now? Do we know of the logistics, what time they'll be here, what happens, and what kind of funeral they'll be afforded by the state?
Well, absolutely, Diabo. It's been a very heart-wrenching moment, especially for the families who have been yearning for closure. So in terms of the logistics, we do understand that they'll be flying from, of course, Uganda all the way to Tanzania, because also some of their soldiers passed away in this tragedy. And thereafter, they'll move to Malawi as well. So we do understand that it's going to be quite a very logistical nightmare, because obviously all these countries, they may have their own arrangements, but also most importantly, really for the UN, that has been very instrumental in terms of facilitating this movement, but also in terms of South Africa as well, reiterating that it's quite important for them to continue to have presence in the DRC, especially because this is a SADC member, this is an East African community member, and it's quite important really to see the eastern parts of Congo really enjoying long-lasting peace. But also most importantly, Diabo, we do understand that during the course of the handover ceremony tomorrow, obviously the families will be present. They'll be coming to terms really with this particular tragedy.
I actually wanted to ask this because I can imagine that our viewers at home are wondering what is going to happen. Do they take the remains and take them to their own dedicated mortuaries, or does it stay in the state? Do we have any information, or does it become something that is overseen completely by government?
So for now, it's still going to be a bit of a long haul in terms of the DNA testing, the verification. So it's still going to be quite a very enormous process. But of course, we do understand that the South African government has been really just pleading with the families to bear with them, especially with all these delays that you have seen. Because, I mean, with the pathology procedures from the time when the mortal remains were moved from the DRC to Rwanda, then subsequently to the UN facility in Entebbe, and then to the hospital in Uganda. So it's been fairly quite a very exhaustive process. But we've seen, Diabo, that this has really become a headache for the South African authorities, especially because, I mean, in this instance, they've been really negotiating with the rebels, but also the UN playing a very important role as a go-between in this instance.
And we understand that the Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamoelle, has said that actually that they will not be surrendering any soldiers from the DRC. What does this do when it comes to inspiring, some confidence, or even thinking about the safety of those that are left there? A comment such as this,
especially since it's a very fluid situation. I think Minister Lamoelle is also insisting, Diabo, that they will remain in the DRC, especially because when you go back to the previous joint summits from the SADC leaders and the East African community, there was no decision really that was taken that we need an immediate pull-out. But in fact, the leaders emphasized the issue of a permanent ceasefire, the cessation of hostilities. But also we do understand that the generals from the SADC region and also East African community will meet to really have a roadmap in terms of really facilitating a number of issues around humanitarian aid, issues around the ceasefire itself. But it's going to be a very interesting time, as you know, that the African Union Summit is also coming up in Addis Ababa this coming weekend. So it's going to be a fairly dominant issue, especially for the AU Peace and Security Council in terms of the way forward, what can be done in terms of supporting these missions.
Right, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the update. We look forward to tomorrow, and I believe you will be covering that for us, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time. That was Khayelihle Khumalo, and giving us an update on the remains that will be coming from the remains of the soldiers that were killed in the Congo. It will be happening tomorrow.